Welcome to the Love Them Knives studio. LTK here, talking about the Brous Echelon, Echelon. Yes. It's fairly new from Brous Blades. Take a look at it. It's G-10 exterior. It's steel liners. It's D2 blade. It's Isham design. It's a pretty good size knife. It's a real exercise in design. It's very similar to the Raven that was also a Brous knife that I will show you real quick. This is the Raven. So, the cutaway here, the cutaways in the blade. Very similar, huh? This protrusion here, this protrusion here, this curve here, this curve here, this little ridge here, ridge here. Then no real choil per se, same here. And this one points up, has more cutaways in the blade, or bigger, larger amounts. The top swedge up here is different than here. It's a little bit different blade shape. Other than that, it's very similar, which is curious that you would do two knives that are so similar. That one, of course, is a lot more expensive. If you saw that paper, it was like $359. That's all titanium, D2. This one's G10 steel liners, D2. This is $188 for this one because it's the stainless. It's not the acid wash black or whatever, which is right at $2 or a little over. So, no fancy pivots here. Okay, there's the lockup, about 30% on the blade. It's a liner lock, obviously. Pretty easy to disengage. Pretty not easy to flip, in my estimation, because not because of the bearings or anything like that. That's not a problem. It's where the flipper tab is placed. It's way up forward here. More intuitive is right here for me. Now, I'm sure because of design reasons, they wanted this flipper tab to come and just be flush right here. And yeah, that's a cool styling cue. Number 461 of 500. I think they made 500 of the round. I think they'd like 500 of the stonewash, 500 of the satin, 500 of the black wash, so 1,500 knives total or something like that. So, in any case, it comes in a nice plastic box with your, authenticity card and numbering and the information and your little tool that comes with it. Great boxes. Like the boxes. G10 and steel liners. I don't know. It's just not something I expect from Brous. I think it brought the price down to like 1/2 of what the Raven cost. So if you want the Raven for half the price, there you go. Although on Smoky Mountain Knife Works, I think I grabbed the Raven for like $235 because they, I had it on a flash sale, which was crazy, but I grabbed one and then later sold it. Just like my buddy Wes up in New York, same thing. So, if this is close to 200 and the Raven was 230 something on a flash sale, then yes, the Raven would be the thing. I mean, it's titanium, it's smooth, it's more sculptured. This is not. This is a little bit raw. If you haven't had this knife in your hands and you're kind of just watching or looking around to kind of get consideration as to whether you want to buy this knife or not, I'll sell it to you. It's a little raw for me. It's like it's cut out, but not really, rounded. These edges, it's like you could take this knife apart and start hitting all these G10 edges. They just are not, you know, there is some degree of, if you can see, machining on the G10, right? Okay. Obviously, there are higher points, there were lower points. These middle parts are lower and pretty thin. I just, in my imagination, I see one of these little thin strands, which is also very, I mean, thin this way, but thin height-wise too, just breaking across there accidentally. You know, catching something and breaking. Whether that would really happen or not, but I just have this thing in my head like, ooh, I wonder if that's, how tough that is. And then you see the stainless steel through the cutouts. I know that's part of the design. It's just, you know, and I was thinking, oh yeah, well, if these were titanium, then you could anodize them, the scales underneath, and you could kind of create a cool effect there. And it really would give you some license for individualizing the knife. With the steel, I know steel can be colored, but it's a little bit more difficult proposition, or a very different proposition than electrical anodization of titanium. In any case, you run on these little ridges here, and I feel every one of them on each side. It's like you go around and you're hitting a sharp crack in the road. Sharp crack in the road every time you hit that. I don't know, and this digs into me. This is not as rounded as the Raven. This is not as smooth in the palm here. This is grabby. So I'm getting grabbed. I'm sitting here. Let's fold the knife up, okay? Nice, nice action on the pivot. That's not a problem. Hold the knife like you normally hold the knife. Okay, just intuitively hold the knife. Okay, I'm intuitively holding the knife. I am feeling this and the one on the other side here both dig into the palm of my hand. And I can feel it. It's sharp. The other day I was holding it and flipping it and stuff and messing with it like I would any knife that's kind of turned into a fidget toy. And this is a painful fidget toy because this is digging me right here. This is just digging in and it's raking me in the palm here. This is my intuitive, like I'm grabbing a knife. Okay, now I'm going to flip it open. Well, if the flipper tab was here, it'd be really much better. Here, I'm not quite getting there. And the problem is I'm pushing the tab inwards. It's not going to flip. This is just physics. I have to reposition my hand, crawl it up a little bit so I can flip it. Then it's kind of almost uncomfortable because I'm crimping my finger back too far when I've executed that. Check out the Megatherium, another Isham design. Okay, so where I'm going to grab the knife here. Where's my finger? I'm way past the flipper tab now. This is no problem. Easy to flip, okay? I mean, this is so much more intuitive for me. So much easier. Actually, these days, it's the same price. Carbon fiber, titanium, contoured, nicer pivot, same Isham design, bearings, S35VN as opposed to D2. I mean, I'm just looking at both these now. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have gone down this road. Another guy was saying, hey, you need to compare like to other knives that were... So, I don't know. So, damn me for that. I don't care. But I'm just saying, this is edgy. This is G10, and it's kind of sharp along here. Everywhere they did these little cutouts for design purposes, it's snaggy. It's just snags all the way along here. I mean, I know some guys that are pretty, they're kind of picky. I was going to say OCD. I'm not going to name them now. But, you know, they get knives. A lot of times they'll take knives apart and just, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but they'll just take them apart because they want their own lube in it and they want to clean everything down and blah, 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 and put them back together again, which I don't know if I agree with that all the time. But also they're real they're real particular about edginess and little catches and little, you know, burrs and hangers and things on knives, and they take it apart. They buff it, sand it, whatever they do to take all the edges off. And I could see them just tearing this one apart and just going all around that G10. And maybe trying to see, the problem is if you take these little bumps out, the problem is they're matched by the stainless scales. So then what do? I mean, I guess you could take both. But I mean, I don't know. It just feels edgy and painful in here. That's all I'm telling you. To me, it feels edgy and painful. The ergos on the Raven, on the Echelon, probably will be the same way with the Wee Knife Eschaton and with the Megatherium, are the fact that this front choil for your finger puts your hand way back from the blade. I mean, you're way back from the blade. You're not even really comfortably, you know. Now you can here go like this. Now you got some control, okay? Let's try this. We don't really have a choil either, and which is, you know, you look at all the Isham designs, there is no choil, but I think if there is one, then it defeats, I mean, it's gonna take away from the angularity and the design, which is, I think, is his thing. I think Brous is trying to be as true to Isham's design as possible and still make it function in the real world. But here, so it's not really a choil, but yes, it's a cutaway here that you can get up. Now this is the most comfortable way to hold this knife. Okay? This is the most comfortable way for me. And this is probably part of the reason why this is up here. Because this was imagined to be maybe this way. Instead of like sitting in the back seat of a limo and trying to grab the steering wheel. It's just, I just feel so disconnected from the blade. I'm going, what's happening up here? How's the weather up there, buddy? You know, I don't know. So I'm like sitting back in the back seat. I don't know, but yeah, there's no chauffeur. It's just driving itself. So look at these little cutaways here. If they would have not done that and they would have gone along here and broke the edges of the G10, which to me still feels sharp to me. And these edges feel sharp here where you go over that little road bump there and it catches you. So had they smoothed all that out, broken the edges of the G10 all the way around, it would have been more livable. It'd have been more livable. And I don't know. Okay, so you're talking about $200 for a D2 blade and steel liners with a G10 scale. You know, I mean, it's really getting tough out there in the world. I looked the other day. I think this was like $180. Okay, so hold on. Whoa. This is 180. This is 180. This is S35VN. This is D2. This is titanium. This is steel. This is carbon fiber. This is G10. This is a decorative pivot. This is not. You know, this is comfortable in the hand. This is smoothed and contoured. The fit and finish on this is excellent. The fit and finish on this, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not. So I'm just saying, wow. Wow. I had bigger hopes, I guess, for this knife when I ordered it. And when I got it, to tell you the truth, I was disappointed. I was just disappointed. I mean, I'm feeling it, and it's just poking me, grabbing me, raking my skin right around here. This is edgy. This is edgy. All along here, you can feel that edge here. I mean, it's just... Was I going to measure this knife? Crap. Not quite a 4-inch blade. You know, it depends on where you hold your tape measure, right? I mean, you're just going to lay it down here like some guys do. Well, it looks like a bigger than a 4-inch blade, doesn't it? 3, not quite 4, maybe, if this is where you're going to the closest forward part of the scale. And then overall, not quite 9 inches, but really, really close. So 22, between 22 and a half and 23 centimeters. And the length of the blade is 90, 96, 97 millimeters, somewhere in there. Let's see the blade stock. Yeah, okay, so it's probably really close to 4 millimeter, 0.150, so it'd be about 3.82, there you go, millimeters. Thickness, let's go with these calipers here because we've got cutouts. So let's see what we got. Let's make sure we're zeroed out. Okay. 13.7 millimeters, 0.54. So nothing big there. I think it's supposed to be like 4.8 ounces. Let's see. Sorry I dragged you in so far into this whole thing before giving you the stats. Although you can read those on the internet. So, and if it's on the internet, it must be true. or have we figured out that not always do we get... So instead of 4.8, 4.7, that's close enough. 134 grams. So it's not terribly heavy. But I keep going like I'm going to deploy it, or I keep like I'm going to do this and I can't. So I keep grabbing it and going, but and then when I do this, then I'm sliding the knife down. I'm not getting purchase on it. So I got to readjust this in my hand. I was trying to close my eyes the other night and just do this intuitively if I could. And I can't do it like this, but I can if I just hold the knife different. I crawl up on it a little bit, and then I can do this. So I don't have my eyes open right now. What happened? Are you still there? Okay. So, where's Hollywood? He gone. He went to Europe. So, we got Fancy in the studio. She's a S110V. She's all messed up. Girl, what have you been doing? I'll tell you what. She came in from upstate New York, and she's been trouble ever since. She wants to go out all the time. Everybody to see her wants to be on the camera. Selfies, you know how women are. Fancy, she's Burple, and when the 110V, she got the 110V attitude on her. So, yes, of course, this is almost 9 inches. This is 8 or so near there too. So, yes, it's a bigger knife. And it's even on top, so the aspect ratio is really helping the Para 2. Oh, God. Yeah, so, good size knife. Good size knife. Let's try. Oh, my God. Where are you, Gripster? Really? He done took off on me. There he is. Now, Gripster, he's been, I don't know, these two, there's trouble here because he's been hanging with his buddies until she came along. And he's showing off his 20 CV. So I don't know how that's going to go on. I can't leave them together on the table for very long. Gripster, yep. He's more her size. So, yeah. There's your size comparison. Dude. Oh, he's... Yep. Right like that. Big knife, though. It is a big knife. Go hide again, Gripster. I guarantee you're trying to run away. Probably run away with Fancy here. She's been getting an attitude. All right. So, we've got the Echelon. And I don't know. If you go to all the time and effort to execute a beautiful design, then I don't know. I mean, I think you could have done maybe different, maybe Mike Carter, or maybe a different sculpting of the G-10. If you wanted to go G-10, I got no problem with liner lock, and I got no problem with G-10. I don't know. Would it have been that tough to do titanium liners and maybe let people have a little artistic license with the scales below? I mean, with the liners, and then I don't know. It's just check out the G-10. Okay, I mean, it's sculpted. Okay, pocket clip I like. That's fine. That's good. You got standoffs. You got an open design. You know, the flipper tab disappears here. Gives you more, you know, contact patch. You don't have a flipper tab hanging down here, making your contact patch like this, you know. It's down here. It's not probably the world's best slicer. It's not probably the world's best piercer. It's probably not the world's best anything, actually, and the ergos, no. So it's an exercise in design and fantasy, but it can be used in reality. And, you know, I was slicing with it the other day a little bit. I just, some citrus to go with cold beverage. You know, just kind of demonstrating it for myself. But, you know, and it'll do that. But that grind's not, you know, you know, that's not the greatest slicer type of format, and it's definitely also not necessarily the greatest piercing type situation here. Although you know you don't have a terribly fragile tip, so you could do that. I don't know. I understand. I think I get it. I think the execution. I would have tried to figure something out different, but I'm not a knife designer, so I sit here and criticize. But I'm not the guy. So, you know, it is always the problem when you have critics. You know, they're critiquing some kind of Broadway musical play, but they've never written a Broadway musical play. They've never directed one, you know, but they know what they like. And so maybe they're speaking from that experience, and from a visceral hands-on experience myself, I just think it's a little edgy. I know it's supposed to be angular, but it's a little too, I don't get these cutouts. They've really presented a problem for me from that perspective, and things could have been more curved. You can curve things. You can, where are you, Gripster? You know, I mean, you got G10 here. You can break that line. See that bevel along there? You can cut that, and that's nice and smooth. See, I'm not seeing that here. It looks sharp right there. I'm not seeing the break. So in any case, I'll let you go. I don't know. I'm glad I have the Megatherium. You know, this is very intuitive, very comfortable in the hand, round, great materials, feels good. And Isham design, not the same kind of design as that or the Raven. And so the Eschaton's going to come out. It'll be interesting to see what the Eschaton does because, crap, did I not have a... Let's not waste ink. See, the Eschaton's going to be this. So it's going to be titanium or it's going to be carbon fiber. I have a feeling it should be less of an issue with the sharpness or edginess here. Let's hope. Let's hope. Because to me, this is disappointing and it needs modification. And you go, for $200, should I have to do that? And no, you shouldn't, but, you know, people do. Sometimes people just do. All right, I'm going to let you go. I've already taken up enough of your time hemming and hawing around. No, I don't want to go on some tirade saying this is a horrible knife, blah, blah, blah. But it's not for me because unless it gets altered, takes the edginess off. I really don't like the stainless steel liners. I wish they were titanium so you could do some creative things underneath. You might be able to do some anyhow with some way to color the scales or the liners below. I might check into that, but I probably just move this knife along. It's not a bucket list for me, unfortunately, because I really like the Isham designs. I just don't think this execution was, you know, it just didn't make it for me. It just didn't. All right. I mean, I feel like I just went to a funeral. Wow. In any case, thank you so much for joining me. Stay with us. Subscribe if you'd like. We've got, I think, we're going to do a 6,000 subscriber deal here pretty quick. So that's going to go on. Table sales, because I got to keep you poor. I mean, come on, man. You got to give that money up. And we got Trader's Corner on the 10th of every month where you guys can trade each other out of stuff. And that's always fun. Hell, it seems like I'm the guy that makes out. I mean, I always got people trading with me. And there's a couple of other guys. It hasn't really, yet, but we've only done it for 2 months in a row. So, and we got our pass around group, which we got about another 3 or 4 people added in now. So the next time the knives go out for pass around, there'll be a few more people in the line. We'll see how that goes. It's a slow process. Guy carries it for 3 or 4 days, mails it, that goes for 3 or 4 days. Another guy carries it for 3, so it's a long process from it to get from one end to another when you got like 15 or 20 guys. Takes a while. It takes a couple months to roll through. So, but as long as it's okay, it's okay. I'm having fun. I hope they are. If they are, then it works. Because you know what we do around here. We love them knives, so stay sharp.